Hi, my loves. It's Jeray, my lady girl from around the way, where we have culture, conversation, and community. And in today's video, I'm coming to you all with some commentary very quickly about this Love Island situation. Now, I do not watch Love Island. I watched one full episode, in all fairness, and maybe like a half episode. And I was kind of like, okay, I kind of get the gist. Okay, baddies, but no fighting, and y'all kissing each other down, and possibly having a little boinka boinka in between. Now, before I hop into my commentary, girl, make sure you like this video and subscribe if you like these type of videos where we talk about things in popular culture, where we can possibly shift our paradigm so we can live the life that we deserve and dream of. Okay, go ahead and hit that like button for me, sister. Now, I know that I wanted to come up with my own ideas about Love Island, and I am not a love show kind of girl, because y'all know, if y'all are around here for a minute, y'all know that I watch reality TV a lot. Okay, I am the Iyanla Vanzant, or formerly known as the Iyanla Vanzant of Ratchet Reality TV, so I understand just how these things work, and I'm not really going off of finding true love on TV. Okay, the most that I was really interested or invested in watching a real love story was probably The Bachelorette with Lindsay. And maybe I watched the Bachelor at one point. But these shows are really, really just good TV, produced well. You know, we see the product placement with the swimsuits. It's all for consumerism. It's just packaged up with fillers, Botox, nice gowns, beautiful gowns at best, and some good scandal. Now, don't get me wrong, Love Island was grouping in the one episode that I did watch, very lustful, very low vibrational, very lustful. Why do I sound like Donald Trump? Very lustful. But I can see the appeal, and I think at some point I will watch. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. I will watch and maybe do a real review and a deep dive into Love Island. But as it stands right now, I've seen enough. And the discourse is simply around Hudda and Chris, and whether or not he should have carried her. And maybe I'll find a clip right here so we can talk.
Right side. Right side. Do I carry or not? Right side. It's hard. Do you mean you sit? No. Like much in life. There's such a lot of work to see.
And what that actually meant, and you know, how he wasn't a gentleman the moment that she broke up with him, and this, that, and the third. But a lot of controversy has been around this girl Hudda. Now, Hudda is a beautiful girl. She really, truly is. My first perception of her was, you know, nice gowns, beautiful gowns. You know, she's thick, she's cute, and it was kind of giving Blaccent, but I just didn't understand the full context. So Hudda is, I think, from North Carolina, and she is also Palestinian. So there is some ethnicity. I think she's maybe, as the census is concerned, maybe classified as white, but ethnically Arab or Palestinian. I don't really want to get into that because I might say it the incorrect way, and I'm not trying to offend. But to someone like myself, I see her as a woman of color, right? She's not maybe a black woman, but you can see the similarities at first glance. You're like, well, what is she? You know, you're not really sure where she kind of fits. And I think that her racial ambiguity, am I saying that the right way? Or it's not ambiguous, y'all know what I'm saying. Everyone is talking about, you know, the Hudda hate train, and you know, this girl, she didn't deserve this. And you know, when everything went down with Jeremiah, I was kind of like, you have no choice but to see what's kind of going on. And everybody was talking about how Jeremiah was love bombing her and everything like this. While those things may be true, I think we need to have a larger conversations around this racial ambiguity, and how it plays on screen. So she was the only girl that I've seen who had verbal outbursts towards the men, where she was calling Jeremiah out of his name. She was lashing out. It seemed like she was having tantrums. She seemed very emotionally manipulative. She seemed very emotionally immature. And a part of me understood and related to Hudda in the sense that, you know, I'm also a mamacita. I'm a mamacita. Yeah, bitch, I'm also a mamacita. So I can understand and see the hurt. you know how like you can kind of recognize things in people. I can kind of recognize that in her. However, she is a person who I think America, because apparently you can download an app, girl, and go into this show, and it's a whole big thing. I mean, maybe I'll catch it next season. I don't know. Whatever. I think that America found a placeholder in Hudda because she does kind of check all of those boxes. And what I'm noticing too is a lot of people who fit the person of color profile is that they're really able to easily code switch and fit into other places because they never truly belong. Now, to us, she gives a woman who fits the exotical threshold. She meets the exotical threshold. She has done cosmetic work. She obviously has the fillers. She does not look like how she looked, when she first popped up on the scene, okay? She's had the rhinoplasty to get rid of her ethnic nose, to kind of straighten out her bridge a bit. She has been in the gym. She seems like a gym girly. I don't know if it's liposuction. I don't know if it's actual gym body, gym shark, this, that, and the third. But she definitely plays into the thick Latina role. She plays into the thick racially ambiguous role. And so this is why we see her being able to code switch. This is why we see her being able to exclusively only date the black men, right? Because women like her tend to understand and know that they are exalted in that position. And so while the white guys have, can have a feast before them and can try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, Hudda understood that I am going to go for the men who I know desire me the most, or so she's perceiving. And so while a lot of people are saying to, well, why did Chris didn't carry her? It was, what not gentlemanlike. What he said was, not even my mama talked to me like this. And you thought it was okay. And so while a black woman will go and express her emotions and she's seen as masculine or aggressive or not desirable or not feminine at best, a spicy Latina does it, or a Palestinian girl with all of the right plumpers and fillers can do that, and it's seen as spicy, and they are willing to take more of disrespect because they are seen as desirable. They are seen as the preference. And she understood that. And I want you all to understand how those things work, how those dynamics work in relationships, with interpersonal relationships. This is why I think that she has such an issue with Shelly, who is conventionally beautiful, right? Shelly is gorgeous. Olandria is gorgeous. But in Hudda's real life, in her world, I don't think that she ever really saw a woman like Shelly as a real competition to her, especially when it relates to a black man, because a black man is going to choose an exotic every single time. This is the false narrative that she's probably feeding herself, and because this is what society gives us too. As long as you're thick enough, as long as you're pretty enough, as long as you're plump enough, as long as you're this enough, as long as you're not super black, as long as you're not super white, but you're somewhere in between, you can fit the mark of the exotical. This is why people were mentioning her Blaccent. This is why people are mentioning how she only exclusively wanted to date the black guys, because she understands and knows that her looking the way that she does gives her an advantage to black men who are so caught up in colorism, featureism, and fetishizing the exoticals. Okay? And this is why I think that she did not end up walking away with something for real, because she was using her biases as the front line and the front runner of how she was choosing to pair and match with people. And if Shelly or Olandria did any of those things, this, that, and the third, this, that, and the third, and even, how about this, even gave up a little piece of cat on the show, which I don't know if they did or not. Put it in the comments, because I didn't watch, like I said. I don't know if Shelly gave out some cat. I don't know if Olandria gave out some cat. But I know that Hudda did. Okay? If any one of those two dark-skinned black women, although very conventionally beautiful, right, had performed and acted in the way that Hudda did, this conversation would be completely different. And if you are a woman that falls into a category where you are racially ambiguous and you want to be in community with other Black people and Black women, you need to understand how you show up in the world. So it's not like, oh, well, I'm not doing it. It's like a continuous cycle of being gaslit, because you are, even if you don't even realize that that's what you're doing. Now, I want to watch it from a different perspective, and at some point I will. Let me know if you're interested in seeing that, because I want to form a better opinion once I actually watch everything. But I do think that Hudda is a person who was in North Carolina. That says a lot, because she's in the South. Now, North Carolina ain't South. But I can imagine her being, fetishized in that way when in the South. North Carolina's not. I'm sure it's more of a mix. But if you're in the deep South, you either Black or you white or you a mix. and if you are some sort of Spanish, some type of Spanish or something? You are in one small community, and it's not like how it is over here on the East Coast, in the Northeast specifically. It's not that much of a melting pot. And I think that she tried to use her desirability as a way to manipulate and control, and Chris did not seem like a person who was going to go for that. And it doesn't make him a bad person, and it doesn't make her a bad person. She's still a young woman. She can still learn and grow from this. Now, I don't believe in jumping on the Hudda hate train, because, she does have some redeeming qualities from the small clips that I've seen. But this is why I don't engage in these type of reality TV shows, because I feel like they are damaging to the psyche. They keep women super competitive and hyper focused on men and vying for their attention at the, at any point, at any measure, playing dirty, and then scream, we're a girl's girl at the end of the day. That's not real. That's not real life. And it breeds a level of competitiveness between and amongst women. And y'all can say, oh, it was Switch, it was this girl. No, hell no. I want to know what you think about this situation, and let me know if you really are interested in learning or talking deeper about the cultural competencies when it comes to these reality TV shows, specifically Love Island, the differences in treatment between Shelly and Hudda, who, again, Shelly is beautiful. And, although she is a dark-skinned woman, we have to talk about the fact that she's very thin. She's very thin, and she has very Eurocentric features outside of the high cheekbones and the wide doe eyes. I think Shelly is gorgeous, and I think Hudda is gorgeous. I think they are beautiful girls, but I think that their confidence is rooted in totally two different things. One is rooted in the fact that she believes that Black men are going to choose her because of how she looks. The other one is rooted in the fact that I am beautiful, and I have been regardless of whatever. And those are the differences that a lot of people are missing. Okay, and let's also talk about the fact that white men are not interested in thick BBL, big lip type of situation. They want the thinner noses. They want the thinner bodies. She has the aesthetic of a baddie. Speaking of Hudda, she has the aesthetic of a baddie. Okay. And so maybe she feels like her dating preferences only need to be Black men, because that's what she's attracted to, because that's what she's, has always gotten attention from, and I think that she was gagged a little bit, that them other girls was in there running it up. I think that gagged her a little bit, because in North Carolina, I can't see how a regular girl from North Carolina, a dark-skinned girl, is going to feel, in her mind, outshine her. And that's exactly what happened. I think that America was all surprised by that. I think that girls who look like Hudda or aspire to look like her were surprised and gagged by that. And I think that this is a learning lesson for us all, right? Let's start to have the real conversations. I want to know what you think about this. Drop down in the comments. As always, I'm sending you much love and much light, and then we'll see you in the next video. Peace.